When someone stops valuing you, your silence becomes their loudest punishment. That's the truth most people don't see, my friends. They think the way to hurt someone who doesn't value you is to argue, to prove yourself, to fight for recognition. But let me tell you, the most powerful strike is not in your words, not in your anger, but in your absence. When you stop explaining, when you stop chasing, when you stop giving them the energy they took for granted, that's when the air shifts. That's when they feel it deep, even if they never admit it. Before we dive into this lesson, do me a quick favor, hit that like button, press subscribe, and stay with me, because what I'm about to share might just change the way you see relationships forever. Hey folks, imagine this. Imagine you've been pouring water into a glass for years. Every single day you show up with your jug, filling it with care, patience, loyalty. But what you don't notice is that the glass has cracks at the bottom. No matter how much you pour, it never fills. It just drains, slowly, silently. And you think, maybe if I pour more, maybe if I give harder, maybe if I sacrifice deeper, the cracks will magically seal. But they don't. And one day, you look down and realize you're standing there with an empty jug in your hands. Nothing left for yourself. That's what it's like, giving your loyalty to someone who doesn't value you. Here's a lie people often believe. If I just love harder, they'll see my worth. If I just stay patient, they'll come back around. But listen carefully. Value cannot be begged for, negotiated for, or forced into someone's eyes. Either they recognize it or they don't. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." And the truth, my friends, is that your worth isn't decided by their recognition. It's decided by the way you carry yourself, the standards you set, and the boundaries you refuse to compromise. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but if I leave, won't they forget me? Won't they move on? No, what they'll remember most is not your presence, but the moment you stopped giving them the comfort of your pursuit. Think about it. Fire doesn't burn because it explains itself. Fire burns because it exists. When you stop running after someone who treated you like an option, your silence becomes the fire that burns in their memory. They feel the sting of no longer being the center of your attention, and that pain cuts deeper than any argument could. Let's be real here. We live in a world where people want the benefits of your loyalty without paying the price of valuing you. They want you available, dependable, always there no matter how they treat you. And the moment you shift, the moment you stop playing that role, they feel a kind of discomfort they can't shake off. Why? Because absence creates a void that presence never could. You see, folks, people can replace company. They can find someone else to sit next to them, but what they cannot replace is the feeling of being deeply valued. That's the part they remember. That's the part they regret. So what's the solution? It's simple, but not easy. You choose yourself. You pull back your energy. You stop giving to places that drain you. You live in a way that proves your worth is not negotiable. Because the truth is, when you stop chasing, you force them to face the reality of what they've lost. And that is the real punishment. Not your anger, not your words, but your growth without them. My friends, remember this. Your silence speaks louder than your begging. Your boundaries shine brighter than your compromises. And your detachment is stronger than any retaliation. The moment you reclaim that truth, you stop being the victim and you become the standard. So let's end this intro with power. I want you to write this in the comments right now. My silence is power. Say it, show it, believe it. Stay with me, because what comes next will break down exactly why your absence shakes them more than anything else you could ever say. press that like button, subscribe, and let's go deeper together. My silence is power. Number 1. They. The slow erosion of value. The worst betrayal is not when they leave you, but when they stay and treat you like you don't matter. That line hits hard because it's the quiet kind of pain, the kind that doesn't announce itself with slammed doors or shouting matches. It's the kind that creeps in slowly, almost invisible, until one day you realize you're standing in the middle of a bond that feels empty. My friends, when they no longer value you, it rarely happens all at once. It is not an explosion, it is erosion. The slow chipping away of respect, the steady fading of appreciation, the subtle silence where care once lived. Picture this. Imagine you've been listening to a song you once loved. At first, it filled you with energy. Every lyric mattered, every note struck your heart. But over time, the song starts skipping, the melody distorts, and what was once beautiful now grates on your nerves. That's how it feels when they stop valuing you. At first, every word you spoke mattered, every gesture was noticed, but now the tone of their voice shifts. The warmth turns to indifference. The spark in their eyes when you enter the room is gone, replaced by something colder, something that whispers, "You don't mean as much anymore." And you start to ask yourself those terrifying questions. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Maybe if I try harder, maybe if I give more, maybe if I sacrifice myself a little further, they'll see me again, right? This is the trap, my friends. This is the lie so many fall into. You start thinking that love is something you can win back through effort, through proving yourself, through bending and breaking until they remember your worth. But let's be brutally honest here. Value cannot be begged for. Value cannot be negotiated. You cannot force someone to see what they have decided to ignore. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And wasting time pouring yourself into someone who has already decided you are ordinary, that is the greatest waste of all. You can spend months, years even, trying to prove your worth to people who quietly decided long ago that you don't matter the way you once did. That's not love. That's self-destruction disguised as loyalty. But I know what you're thinking. If I walk away, won't they just move on? Won't they replace me with someone else? That fear grips so many people. It makes you hold on tighter, even when you know it's slipping away. You think that your presence is better than their absence. But here's the paradox. You can be lonelier in their presence than you ever would be in their absence. Because nothing cuts deeper than being with someone who makes you feel invisible. Let me give you a metaphor. Standing next to someone who doesn't value you is like standing in the sun holding an umbrella. You can feel the light all around you, but you never feel the warmth. You're technically there, but the experience is blocked. Their indifference is that umbrella, shielding you from the love and recognition you deserve. And the longer you stay, the more you start convincing yourself that maybe this coldness is normal. Maybe this is what love is supposed to feel like. But my friends, let's break the lie right now. Love without respect is not love. Attention without appreciation is not connection. Presence without value is poison. Why is it so hard to accept this? Because the human heart craves significance. We want to feel like we matter in someone's world. We want to know that our efforts mean something, that our sacrifices are seen. And when that's missing, instead of walking away, we double down. We think, maybe I'm just not trying hard enough. Maybe they're stressed. Maybe it's just a phase. And in convincing ourselves of these maybes, we ignore the truth right in front of us. They no longer value us the way they once did. But let me flip the script for you. What if the pain you feel right now isn't proof of your weakness, but the invitation to your greatest strength? What if the discomfort of being undervalued is actually the sign that it's time to rise, not beg? Because here's the truth. Being in a space where you are not valued doesn't just drain you, it blinds you. It makes you question your worth, not because your worth has diminished, but because you tied it so tightly to how they treat you. And that is the lie that keeps you stuck. The truth is simple. Your worth never left you. It is not hanging in the balance of someone else's recognition. It exists in the way you carry yourself, in the standards you refuse to compromise, and in the dignity you choose to protect. That's why staying in spaces where you are treated as disposable will never restore your value. It only diminishes your ability to see it for yourself. My friends, let me say it clear. When they stop valuing you, you have two choices. You can shrink, beg, explain, and exhaust yourself, trying to earn what should have been freely given. Or you can step back, reclaim your energy, and remind yourself that silence is not weakness, it is power. Because the moment you stop trying to prove your worth, you remove the very foundation their control was built on. Now, I'm not telling you this is easy. Walking away, pulling back, choosing yourself, it feels like standing on the edge of a cliff. Fear screams at you, what if I'm alone forever? What if no one else ever sees me? But here's the reframe. Better to stand alone in your dignity than to sit surrounded in your diminishment. Better to protect your energy than to let it be drained by someone who treats it like an endless supply. Think of it like this. Your life is a garden. Every day you water it with your time, your love, your energy. But if the soil is barren, if the ground refuses to grow anything, no matter how much you water, nothing blooms. And while you waste years tending to dead ground, there's fertile soil out there waiting for you. Soil where your efforts will produce fruit, growth, beauty. But you'll never find it if you keep wasting your energy on ground that refuses to receive it. So here's the motivational truth. The moment you stop trying to fix people who refuse to value you, you unlock the freedom to build yourself. The moment you refuse to stay where you are invisible, you step into a life where you cannot be ignored. And that is the shift, my friends. That is the silent punishment. You don't punish them by yelling or demanding. You punish them by elevating, by choosing yourself, by thriving in a way they can no longer control. Write this in the comments right now. I refuse to beg for value. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Show it to anyone who ever doubted your worth. Because this is where it begins, the reclaiming of your power. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you why your silence and absence hurt them more than anything you could ever say. I refuse to beg for value. Number 2, the trap of overgiving. The more you give to those who don't value you, the more they take it as proof that they never had to value you in the first place. That one stings, doesn't it? Because if you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When they stop valuing you, most people don't pull back. They do the opposite. They double down. They give more, sacrifice more, bend further, hoping that one day the person will suddenly wake up and say, "Wow, look at all they've done for me. I should value them again." But that moment rarely comes. Instead, the more you give, the more invisible you become. Think about this, my friends. Imagine a man running on a treadmill. He's sweating, exhausted, running as hard as he can. But no matter how fast he runs, the treadmill doesn't move forward. It just keeps spinning under his feet. That's what overgiving feels like. You keep trying, hoping you'll eventually get somewhere, but you stay stuck in the same place. And the truth is, the treadmill was never broken. It's designed to keep you running without moving forward. That's exactly how their indifference works. The more you pour in, the more you feed a system that was never designed to reward your effort. Here's the lie so many of us fall for. If I just do more, they'll see my worth. If I just hold on, they'll change. But let's break that lie wide open. Doing more does not equal being valued more. In fact, sometimes it creates the opposite effect. Why? Because the moment they realize you're willing to stay, regardless of how they treat you, they stop feeling any urgency to respect you. Your loyalty, instead of being seen as a gift, gets taken as a guarantee. And anything guaranteed is rarely cherished. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Let's twist that for this truth. Waste no more time arguing about what your worth should be. Live it, show it, stand in it. But you can't do that while you're overgiving to people who see your sacrifices as background noise. Now let me ask you a hard question. Why do you keep overgiving when you know deep down it isn't working? The answer is fear. Fear of being left alone. Fear of being replaced. Fear of realizing that all the energy you poured in might never be returned. So instead of facing that truth, you keep pouring. You tell yourself one more act of kindness, one more effort, one more chance. But my friends, kindness without boundaries turns into self-betrayal. Loyalty without reciprocity turns into slavery. And that is the trap of overgiving. Imagine you're holding a candle in a dark room. That flame is your energy. At first, it lights the whole place. But if you keep burning it for someone who doesn't appreciate it, the wax melts faster, the flame shrinks, and eventually it burns out completely. And when it does, you're left in darkness. Not because the flame wasn't strong enough, but because you used it in a place where no one guarded it. The hardest part of all this is realizing that sometimes overgiving isn't about love at all. It's about trying to buy back your own worth through someone else's eyes. You think, if they finally appreciate me, then I'll know I was worthy all along. But let me tell you something that might shake you. Your worth never depended on their appreciation. It existed before they saw it, and it will exist after they ignore it. Still, I know why it feels impossible to stop giving. Because walking away feels like giving up, doesn't it? It feels like failure. But here's the truth. It's not giving up, it's growing up. It's realizing that love without respect isn't worth your energy. It's learning that sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't to keep fighting for them, but to start fighting for yourself. Let me give you another picture. Overgiving is like trying to water a dead plant. You bring water every day, hoping it will bloom again. But no matter how much you give, it stays lifeless. And while you waste years pouring into that one plant, you miss the opportunity to water the ones around you that are ready to flourish. That's what happens when you stay stuck overgiving to someone who doesn't value you. You miss the life you could have had, the love you could have found, the peace you could have built. Here's the Stoic truth. Self-respect requires subtraction. You cannot keep everyone and keep your dignity too. At some point, you must choose. Do I keep overgiving to someone who doesn't care, or do I reclaim my energy for myself? And make no mistake, my friends, choosing yourself is not selfish. It is survival. It is sanity. It is strength. So why do they let you overgive without stopping you? Because it benefits them. It gives them the comfort of your effort without the responsibility of reciprocity. They get to sit back, knowing you'll always show up, no matter how little they give in return. And the moment you realize this, the moment you see the truth, it's like waking up from a dream. You realize you weren't being loved, you were being used. Now, I know that's a heavy truth. It might sting right now, but sometimes pain is the only medicine strong enough to wake us up. And when it does, you finally see that overgiving never leads to being valued. It only leads to being drained. So let me leave you with this thought. Every time you give to someone who doesn't value you, you are robbing yourself of the chance to give that same energy to the one person who will always value you. You. Imagine what your life would look like if you took all that energy, all that sacrifice, all that effort, and poured it back into yourself, your health, your growth, your future. That's where true transformation begins. My friends, it's time to stop watering dead plants. It's time to stop burning out your candle in spaces that don't guard your flame. It's time to stop running on treadmills that go nowhere. And it's time to step into a life where your giving is matched by gratitude, where your loyalty is treated as privilege, not entitlement. Write this in the comments right now. I will not overgive. Show it to yourself. Show it to the world. Show it to anyone who ever drained your light, because this is the first step to reclaiming your worth. Not by doing more for them, but by doing more for you. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you why staying in undervalued spaces is not just painful. It's poison. I will not overgive. Number 3, presence without appreciation is poison. It is better to be alone with dignity than together in a space where you are invisible. That quote cuts to the bone because it reveals a reality many refuse to face. Sometimes the greatest loneliness isn't when you're by yourself. It's when you're standing next to someone who no longer values you. My friends, when they no longer appreciate your presence, being near them becomes more painful than being away from them. And here's the truth. It's not their absence that poisons you. It's their indifference while you're still there. Picture this. You're in a crowded room, voices buzzing all around, but when you speak, no one looks up, no one listens. You exist, but you don't matter. That's the feeling of being with someone who doesn't value you anymore. They may sit across from you at dinner. They may lie next to you in bed. But emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they're somewhere else. And that presence without appreciation, that's poison, slow and silent, eating away at your confidence, your identity, your very sense of self. Here's the lie most people believe. At least they're still here. At least I'm not alone. But let's break that lie right now. Presence without appreciation isn't a gift. It's a curse. It's like drinking water that looks clear but is laced with poison. You feel the comfort of the glass in your hand, but every sip weakens you from the inside. Staying in a relationship where your presence is ignored is no different. It drains you slowly, making you believe your worth is shrinking, when in reality, it's their ability to recognize it that's already dead. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And here's how most react. They shrink. They tell themselves, something is better than nothing. At least I still have their body near me, even if their heart is gone. But my friends, something is not always better than nothing. In fact, something can be far worse when that something is disrespect, neglect, or indifference. Because you aren't just enduring emptiness, you're enduring emptiness while convincing yourself you're full. Think of it like sitting at a feast where every plate is empty. You look at the table, it's full of dishes, cups, and silverware. From a distance, it looks like abundance, but when you pick up your fork, there's nothing to eat. You leave the table hungrier than when you sat down. That's what it feels like to stay with someone who doesn't value you anymore. From the outside, it may look like a relationship, but from the inside, you're starving. Why do people stay? Because walking away feels terrifying. They think, if I leave, I'll be lonely. But let me tell you something powerful. You're already lonely. You're already carrying the weight of being unseen. You're already abandoned, even if their body hasn't moved. The only difference is, when you finally walk away, you exchange a loneliness that drains you for a solitude that can rebuild you. And that, my friends, is not weakness, it's wisdom. But here's what's even more dangerous. When you stay in undervalued spaces too long, you begin to normalize it. You convince yourself, maybe this is just how love works. Maybe this is what relationships are supposed to feel like. Maybe everyone settles. That lie is the slowest poison of all. Because once you accept being unseen as normal, you stop demanding the respect you deserve. And the moment you stop demanding it, you stop receiving it. From them, and eventually, even from yourself. Let me give you a metaphor that will stay with you. Imagine you're playing a song on a speaker. At first, the music is loud, beautiful, filling the room. But as time goes on, the volume gets lower and lower. At first, you notice. You turn it up. But eventually, you stop noticing. You grow used to the silence. You forget there was ever music. That's what happens when you allow yourself to stay in a relationship where your value is ignored. You forget the sound of being cherished. You accept the quiet as normal. And that, my friends, is the greatest theft of all. Now let's flip it. What happens when you finally leave that space? At first, yes, it hurts. Silence feels heavier when you first embrace it. But then something amazing happens. You begin to hear your own voice again. You remember your own worth. You realize that being alone is not punishment, it's purification. It cleanses you from the poison of neglect. It reminds you that you never needed their appreciation to define you. You needed your own. Here's a question I want you to sit with. Why would you settle for being tolerated when you were born to be treasured? Why accept scraps of attention when your loyalty, your love, your energy deserve a banquet of respect? Why cling to their body when their soul left long ago? These are the hard truths you must face, because the sooner you do, the sooner you stop drinking the poison of undervaluation and start feasting on the abundance of self-respect. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, and what is more unnatural than shrinking yourself just to keep someone else comfortable? Nature grows, nature expands, nature blooms, and so must you. But you cannot bloom in soil that is barren. You cannot grow where you are neglected. Sometimes the most powerful act of growth is leaving the very ground that refuses to nourish you. My friends, here's the lesson. Presence without appreciation isn't love, it's suffocation. It's not companionship, it's captivity. And you deserve more. You deserve to be seen, heard, and valued, not as an option but as a priority. And if they can't give you that, then the greatest gift you can give yourself is walking away. Because absence is not your punishment, it is your power. So let's end this section with something for you to declare. Write this in the comments right now. I choose respect over neglect. Say it to yourself, show it to the world, and let it be the reminder that you will no longer accept being invisible in spaces where you should shine. Because what comes next, my friends, is even more powerful. We're going to break down why your silence, your pulling back, your refusal to play their game becomes the punishment they never saw coming. I choose respect over neglect. Number 4, the silent punishment. Never waste your energy explaining to people who showed you they don't care. Your silence will do what your words never could. That's a tough truth, my friends, but it's one that separates those who stay stuck from those who rise. See, when they no longer value you, they expect a fight. They expect arguments. They expect begging, explanations, long talks where you plead for their understanding. Why? Because as long as you're arguing, as long as you're explaining, as long as you're chasing, you're still showing that they matter more than your peace. But when you go silent, when you detach, when you stop reacting, suddenly the game changes. Silence becomes the punishment they never prepared for. Let's be real here. Anger still shows connection. Shouting proves you still want them to hear you. Even tears reveal that their opinion still carries weight in your world. But silence? Silence says something deeper. It says, I no longer need your recognition. I no longer need your attention. I am no longer willing to bleed just to be seen. That, my friends, cuts sharper than any words you could ever say. Imagine this. You walk into a room where a fire once burned bright. You expect to feel heat. You expect the glow. But instead, there is nothing, just cold ashes. That's what your silence feels like to someone who once fed off your energy. They were used to your flame, your attention, your pursuit, your emotional reactions. They took it for granted. But now, when they reach for it, they find emptiness. And that emptiness unsettles them more than any confrontation ever could. Here's the lie they hope you believe. If you don't chase, you'll lose me forever. If you stay silent, I'll forget you. But let's break that lie right now. Silence doesn't make them forget. It makes them remember. It forces them to confront a reality they can't control, that their influence over you is gone. Think about it. When someone loses your attention, they don't lose just you. They lose the version of themselves who mattered in your eyes. And that loss hits harder than anything else. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." The same principle applies here. The best punishment isn't shouting, insulting, or retaliating. It's refusing to play their game at all. It's showing them that you're not moved, not manipulated, not chained to their opinion. That quiet detachment is what shakes them at their core. But let's be honest, choosing silence is not easy. Everything in you wants to scream, wants to prove, wants to fight for closure. You think, if I just explain one more time, maybe they'll finally understand. Maybe they'll finally value me. But my friends, people don't suddenly value what they've already decided to take for granted. Words rarely change what actions already revealed. That's why silence is so powerful. It protects your energy from being wasted, and it forces them to sit with the weight of their own choices. Think of it like this. Imagine someone throwing a ball at a wall. Every time, the wall bounces it back. That's what arguments are. You return what they throw, keeping the game alive. But when the wall disappears, when there's no bounce back, the ball just drops. The game ends. Your silence ends the cycle. It stops the emotional tug-of-war and replaces it with something they can't control, the void of your absence. Now, here's where it gets interesting. At first, they might act unaffected. They might tell themselves they don't care. They might even try to provoke you just to see if they can still pull you back into the cycle. But deep down, silence eats at them. Why? Because human beings crave significance. We all want to know we matter to someone, and when your silence shows them that they no longer hold that place in your life, it forces a reflection they can't escape. Here's the beautiful paradox. Your silence punishes without trying to punish. It's not revenge, it's not cruelty, it's self-respect. It's the refusal to keep pouring into a cup with holes. And that refusal, that pulling back, becomes the mirror in which they see their own neglect. They may never admit it out loud, but the discomfort is there, because absence has a weight words can't carry. Think of the moon. When it disappears from the night sky, you feel the emptiness. You look up and notice it's gone. That's how your silence works. They might have ignored your presence when you were giving, talking, trying. But the moment you go quiet, the moment you step back, the void becomes impossible to ignore. So why is silence more powerful than anger? Because silence shows you've detached. Detachment removes the emotional fuel that keeps their control alive. Anger, even though it feels powerful, still says, "You matter enough to move me." Silence says, "You no longer have that power." That's why it stings. That's why it unsettles them in ways no argument ever could. But here's the question: can you handle the silence yourself? Because silence isn't just about punishing them, it's about disciplining you. It's about resisting the urge to explain, resisting the urge to chase, resisting the urge to fill the quiet with desperate words. And that discipline, that's what transforms you. It turns your silence from emptiness into strength, from weakness into power. Epictetus once said, "Self-control is the chief element in self-respect." Your silence is proof of that self-control. It's you saying, "I respect myself enough to stop fighting for someone who no longer fights for me." And that kind of respect doesn't just hurt them, it heals you. Now let's get practical. The next time you feel the urge to text, to call, to explain, pause. Ask yourself, am I speaking to be heard, or am I speaking because I'm afraid of being forgotten? If it's the second, stay silent. Because you will never be forgotten by someone who once held your attention. Trust me, they'll remember, and your silence will echo louder than any words ever could. So let's anchor this with a metaphor you won't forget. Silence is like gravity. You don't see it, you don't hear it, but everything feels its pull. Your absence pulls at them, reminding them of what they once had. Your detachment becomes the invisible force they can't escape. And the more you rise, the heavier that gravity feels on their conscience. My friends, this is not about revenge. It's about reclaiming your peace. It's about refusing to let your worth be defined by someone else's recognition. Because the moment you embrace silence, you stop asking, you stop proving, you stop begging, you start living. And that shift, that's what punishes them more than anything else. So let's close this section with strength. Write this in the comments right now. My silence is my strength. Say it to yourself. Show it to the world. Remind yourself every single day that you don't need to raise your voice to be heard. Because your silence, your discipline, your detachment, it all speaks louder than anything they could ever say. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal what they truly lose when your energy is gone. My silence is my strength. Number 5, what they truly lose. It's not the loss of you that cuts them the deepest. It's the loss of what they meant to you. That truth right there, my friends, is the blade they never see coming. See, when they no longer value you, they think the punishment is losing your company, losing your attention, losing your time. But the real punishment is much heavier. It's the moment they realize they've lost the version of themselves that once held significance in your eyes. Because deep down, every person craves one thing above all else: importance. And when your silence, your absence, your detachment removes that importance from their life, it leaves a void that nothing else can fill. Picture this. Imagine a stage with bright spotlights. For a while, they were the lead actor, center stage. Every word they spoke was amplified. Every move they made was noticed. But then one day, the lights go out. The audience leaves. The stage is empty. They're still standing there, but now they're talking to an empty room. That emptiness, that silence, is what they truly lose when your value is withdrawn. They didn't just lose you. They lost the audience that made them feel significant. Here's the lie most people believe. They'll move on quickly. They'll replace me. They'll find someone else. But let's break that lie right here. People can replace company. They can replace someone to eat dinner with, someone to text, someone to sit beside. But what they cannot replace is the feeling of being deeply valued. That is rare. That is sacred. That is not duplicated easily. And when you pull that away, the absence lingers far longer than you think. Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In relationships, wealth is not about having someone present. It's about being valued in someone's life. When they lose that, they don't just lose a person, they lose the reflection of themselves they loved seeing in your eyes. That reflection is powerful, and when it's gone, they feel it like a shadow they can't shake. Think of it like a mirror. When they were valued, they stood before your mirror and saw a version of themselves that looked bigger, brighter, more important. But when you step back, when you remove your energy, that mirror shatters. They look, but there's nothing reflecting back. That's the pain they can't escape. Not losing you, but losing the version of themselves they became when you valued them. And here's the twist. Sometimes they don't even realize this until much later. At first, they might act unaffected. They might even convince themselves that they're fine. They'll try to fill the void with distractions, new faces, temporary highs. But late at night, when the noise fades, when the phone is silent, that's when it hits. That's when they remember. Not you as a body, not you as a name, but the significance you gave them. The way you made them feel irreplaceable, that's the real loss. Now, let's address the fear many of you have. But what if they really don't care? What if I didn't mean as much as I thought? My friends, let me tell you something with certainty. You mattered. You were significant. You gave something no one else could give, your attention, your loyalty, your energy, your presence. That cannot be erased. It can only be ignored for a time. But when it's gone, the absence becomes undeniable. People don't realize the warmth of the sun until it disappears behind the clouds. And when your light is gone, they feel the chill. Think about this metaphor. You're wearing a crown, and for a long time they sat in the throne of your life. They were king or queen in your world, and your attention was their crown jewel. But when you walk away, when you take that crown back, they're left sitting on a throne with no crown, no power, no audience. A throne without acknowledgement is just a chair, and they feel it deeply. Why does this cut so hard? Because human beings are addicted to significance. We want to know that we matter. We want to feel special in someone's story. And when they lose that role in your life, no matter how much they act unbothered, that craving gnaws at them. They can find someone new, yes. They can distract themselves, yes. But they cannot recreate the exact significance they once held in your life. That's the sting that follows them, whether they admit it or not. But let's be clear here. Your purpose is not to punish them. Your purpose is to protect you, because staying, giving, pouring into someone who no longer values you isn't noble, it's self-destruction. And the moment you stop, the moment you walk away, the loss they feel is simply the natural consequence of their neglect. It's not revenge, it's reality. Now let me ask you, what do you truly lose by leaving? You lose the poison, you lose the neglect, you lose the weight of constantly trying to prove your worth. And what do they lose? They lose the comfort of your pursuit. They lose the reflection of their importance. They lose the privilege of being central in your world. That's not just a loss, It's a collapse, because they no longer get to define themselves by how much you needed them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And this, my friends, is where your strength lies. You cannot control whether they valued you. You cannot control whether they lost sight of your worth. But you can control whether you keep giving your energy to someone who has already decided to waste it. That's your power. That's your silence. That's your punishment. Not loud, not vengeful, but unshakable. Here's what makes this so beautiful. The more you rise after they lose your value, the more the contrast grows. They see you moving forward, building, thriving, and every step you take without them becomes a reminder of what they dismissed. The gap between who you were with them and who you became without them becomes the wound they cannot close. So here's the motivational truth. Stop fearing what you'll lose by leaving. Start recognizing what they lose when you finally protect your worth. Because at the end of the day, the heaviest punishment is not your anger, it's your absence. It's not your words, it's your silence. And it's not the loss of you, it's the loss of what they once meant to you. My friends, I want you to anchor this into your heart. Write it in the comments right now. Losing me is their loss. Say it with certainty, show it to the world, and let it be the reminder that you were never disposable. You were always valuable. And if they couldn't see it, the pain of losing that recognition belongs to them, not you. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal why detachment, not retaliation, is the ultimate power move. Losing me is their loss. Number 6. Detachment as power. The moment you stop reacting, you start leading. The moment you detach, you reclaim the power they thought they had over you. That truth alone, my friends, is enough to change your entire life if you let it sink in. Detachment isn't weakness. It isn't coldness. It isn't indifference for the sake of pride. Detachment is discipline. Detachment is strength. Detachment is saying, I will not let my peace be hijacked by someone who no longer values me. And believe me when I tell you, when they feel that shift, when they realize they no longer pull your strings, that's when the air around them changes. That's when they feel the sting they never expected. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a puppet show. For the longest time, they held the strings. They pulled and you moved. They pushed and you responded. They ignored you and you panicked. They gave you crumbs and you stretched them into meals. But then one day you cut the strings. You stand up, free, no longer dancing to their rhythm. The puppet show ends and they're left holding strings that control no one. That moment, my friends, is detachment. That is power. Here's the lie so many fall for. If I detach, they'll think I don't care. If I pull back, they'll forget me. No, detachment doesn't erase you. It amplifies you. It makes your presence stronger because it shows that you're no longer available at any cost. It shows that you have boundaries, standards, and self-respect. And those three things are more attractive, more intimidating, and more unforgettable than any desperate chase could ever be. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Detachment is the embodiment of that truth, because when you detach, you're no longer obsessed with controlling them, with fixing them, with making them see your worth. You shift the focus back where it belongs, on your own mind, your own peace, your own life. That is real power. That is the power they can't stand, because it's the one thing they can't control. Now let's be honest, detachment is hard. It's easy to say, just let go, but when you've tied your sense of value to someone else, Pulling back feels like tearing a piece of yourself away. You'll be tempted to text, to call, to explain, to chase. You'll think, maybe if I just show them how much I care, maybe if I just prove myself one last time. But here's the reality. Every time you chase, you give them proof that they can ignore you and still keep your attention. Every time you argue, you confirm that they still control your emotions. And every time you explain, you hand them the power to validate or dismiss your worth. That cycle never ends until you decide to detach. Think of it like a fire. As long as you keep throwing wood onto it, it burns. Arguments, explanations, chasing, that's the wood. But the moment you stop feeding it, the fire goes out. Your silence, your detachment, is the oxygen being removed. And when that fire dies, when they realize you no longer burn for them, that's when the real punishment begins. Here's the paradox. They may not admit it, but your detachment makes them feel something they can't shake: irrelevance. And irrelevance cuts deeper than anger, because anger says, you still matter enough to move me. Detachment says, you no longer have that privilege. That difference is everything. But let's break another lie right now. Detachment is not about revenge. It's not about making them jealous. It's not about playing games. Those things still keep you tied to their opinion. True detachment is about freeing yourself completely. It's about reaching the point where their recognition or rejection no longer defines you. That's why it's so powerful, because it's not aimed at them at all. It's aimed at protecting you. Think of it like standing in the eye of a storm. Around you, chaos swirls, winds scream, trees bend, debris flies. But in the center, there is stillness, calm, control. That's what detachment feels like. While they try to push and pull, while they play games, while they test your reactions, you stand calm. You don't chase, you don't fight, you don't crumble. And that calmness, that discipline, is what unsettles them most, because they can't drag you into the storm anymore. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Detachment is self-mastery in action. It's proving to yourself and to the world that you don't need to beg for value. You don't need to explain your worth. You don't need to play roles just to keep someone close. You are enough, with or without them. And when you live from that place, everything changes. Now here's the beauty. Detachment doesn't just hurt them, it heals you. Because when you stop giving energy to someone who doesn't value it, you suddenly have energy to give to yourself. You start building your health, your mindset, your finances, your future. You stop waiting for their text and start focusing on your goals. You stop begging for scraps and start feasting on self-growth. And as you rise, they see the contrast, the you they dismissed versus the you who thrives without them. That contrast becomes the silent reminder of what they lost. Let me give you one last metaphor. Detachment is like a mountain, solid, unmoving, unshaken by storms. People can shout at it, throw stones at it, try to climb it, but the mountain doesn't move. It doesn't lower itself to meet anyone. It simply stands. And in its standing, it commands respect. That's what you become when you detach. You stop lowering yourself to be valued, and instead you rise so high that they have no choice but to look up. My friends, here's the truth you need to hold on to. Retaliation is weakness because it still depends on them. Detachment is strength because it depends only on you. Retaliation says, I need you to see my worth. Detachment says, I already know my worth, whether you see it or not. And that shift is everything. So let's seal this section with power. Write it in the comments right now. Detachment is my power. Say it, Believe it, live it, because the moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop reacting, the moment you detach, that is the moment you stop being their option and start being your own standard. Stay with me, because what comes next will show you how this detachment creates a contrast that haunts them long after you're gone. Detachment is my power. Number 7. They. The contrast that haunts them. Sometimes the loudest reminder of what they lost is not your words, it's the life you build without them. That's the reality, my friends. When they no longer value you, when they thought you'd always be there no matter how little they gave, the real punishment doesn't come in the moment you walk away. It comes later, when they see the contrast. The difference between who you were when you begged for their attention and who you became when you stopped. That contrast is what haunts them. That contrast is the ghost of what they took for granted. And no matter how much they try to hide it, they feel it. Think about it like this. Imagine a garden. While you were with them, you poured water every day. You tended the soil, you pulled the weeds, you gave your all. But because they didn't value it, nothing grew. The soil stayed barren. The flowers never bloomed. But the moment you stopped watering their garden and started watering your own, life appeared. Blossoms opened, trees bore fruit, beauty spread everywhere. And when they look at you from a distance, they see it. They see the life you built away from them. They see the growth they never believed in. And that contrast, it burns deeper than any words you could ever speak. Here's the lie they believed. You'll never leave, you'll never rise, you'll never stop chasing. And maybe for a while you believed it too. But the truth is, once you detach, once you reclaim your energy, you prove them wrong without even trying. You show them that their lack of value didn't break you. It revealed you. It revealed strength, resilience, discipline, power. And when they see that, they don't just miss you, they regret underestimating you. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one in the same way. Waste no more time arguing about what your worth is. Live it, stand in it, show it. Because that demonstration, your growth, your success, your peace, speaks louder than explanations ever could. You don't have to say, 'Look what you lost.' Your life says it for you. But let's be honest, the contrast isn't just about them, it's about you too. Because while they may feel regret, the real gift of this contrast is the realization you have when you look in the mirror and see who you've become. At first, yes, it hurts to walk away. It feels empty to let go of someone you once built your world around. But as time passes, as you invest in yourself, you begin to see something incredible. You are stronger without them. You are freer without them. You are more yourself without them. That realization is liberation. Let me ask you a hard question. What hurts more, staying where you are unseen, or leaving and learning how brightly you can shine on your own? The truth is, staying only prolongs the poison. Leaving opens the door to healing. And as you heal, as you rise, the contrast between your old self and your new self becomes undeniable. You used to beg. Now you set standards. You used to overgive. Now you protect your energy. You used to argue. Now you stay silent. That transformation is not just healing. It's intimidating to anyone who once took you for granted. Think of it like a diamond. In their hands, they treated it like glass, careless, dismissive, throwing it around. But when you take it back, polish it, place it under the right light, the brilliance shines. And suddenly they realize it was never glass. It was treasure. That's the haunting truth. They didn't lose someone ordinary. They lost someone extraordinary. They just couldn't see it until it was too late. And here's the paradox. By the time they feel the full weight of this contrast, you're already gone. You're already thriving. You're already standing in your power. They may replay memories. They may imagine conversations. They may wonder if they could go back and change things. But the reality is simple. The chance they had is no longer available. They didn't just lose you. They lost the version of themselves who mattered to you. And that version is never coming back. Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." And that applies to you, my friends. The person you become after detachment doesn't appear overnight. It's built through discipline, through patience, through choosing silence over reaction, growth over chasing, standards over desperation. And when the people who undervalued you see that version of you, they don't just feel regret, they feel haunted. Because they know deep down they'll never have access to that greatness again. But let's talk about you right now. Maybe you're still in the middle of it. Maybe you're just starting to pull back. Maybe you're still tempted to text, to explain, to chase. Let this truth anchor you. Every ounce of energy you pour into yourself creates the contrast they will one day feel. Every moment of discipline, every step of growth, every boundary you enforce, it all builds the life that will stand as a silent reminder of what they dismissed. You don't need to prove anything today. You just need to keep building, keep growing, keep becoming. Here's the motivational reframe. Stop asking, "What if they forget me?" Start asking, "What if I become unforgettable?" Not because you tried to haunt them, but because you lived so powerfully, so authentically, so unapologetically, that your absence cannot be ignored. That's the real victory. That's the real punishment. That's the real power of detachment. So here's what I want you to do. Don't chase their recognition. Chase your evolution. Don't beg for their attention. Build your presence. Don't waste your energy proving your worth to them. Prove it to yourself by living a life that makes their opinion irrelevant. Because at the end of the day, the only approval you need is your own. And when you master that, nothing and no one can take your value away again. Think of it like a sunrise. When the sun rises, it doesn't beg anyone to notice. It simply shines. And because it shines, the world has no choice but to feel its warmth. That's what your growth becomes. You don't force them to notice. You simply live in such a way that your presence, your silence, your success speaks for itself. My friends, this is where the journey comes full circle. They thought they had the power by withholding value. They thought you'd chase forever. They thought you'd shrink, beg, explain. But instead, you rose, you detached, you thrived. And now, the contrast of your elevation versus their neglect will linger in their memory long after you've moved on. That's the kind of punishment they can't escape. That's the kind of strength no one can take. So let's close this entire message with power. Write this in the comments right now. I rise in silence. Say it, believe it, and let it be the affirmation that guides you forward. Because from this day on, you will no longer measure your worth by whether they value you. You will measure it by how boldly you choose yourself. And if this spoke to you, if you felt these truths deep in your chest, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, press subscribe, and share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Because this is not just about healing, it's about rising. It's about reclaiming the power that was always yours. And together, we're going to make sure no one ever forgets it. I rise in silence.